Hello, my friends. In my journal today, I want to reflect the tone of the verse that I'm journaling. It's from 1 John 2:11 and reads, "But whoever hates his brother is in the darkness and walks in the darkness and does not know where he is going because the darkness has blinded his eyes." Well, the best medium I've found to create the darkest background for me has been black gesso. And so that's what I started today. Gesso is a primer that's used to prepare your page, creating a bit of texture to help if you're using acrylics or oils, and helps it adhere to the canvas or whatever you're painting on. It seals the paper with watercolor paper, so when I watercolor over it, it reacts differently since the paper can no longer absorb my paint as usual. But I love the smooth black surface it creates for some scenes and the fact that it doesn't show brush marks. In fact, if I make a mistake, I can just paint over it with some more gesso, start over, and no one will know. I laid paper under my page to begin. I try to protect it from my previous entries so it doesn't bleed over. But no matter how careful I am, I manage to move the sheet and smear a little anyway. It seems like a lot of my journal shares paint from an adjoining entry. Anyway, I'm playing with this craft level watercolor set and I'm loving the colors. They're a little chalky, so they work well with this particular plan. I had some white gouache as a backup, but the white in my palette did the trick. I created a horizon line and scratched in what I hope would appear to be like some background bushes. I want to illustrate a black narrowing path that this brother is walking along, blind to the truth. It's looking like a bit of a mess as I loosely spread this white paint to create a foggy, blurred background over the black gesso. But creating some light in the background will help illuminate my brother, who is wandering in the darkness. I think the black gesso and white watercolor paint combine to create this really creepy, foggy scene for this wanderer. To paint in this figure, I'll make a dot for the head, shoulders, and then a rectangular torso and two legs. And I differ the length of the legs to simulate movement or taking a step. And then a hint of arms is all I'll need to finish it up. Now into the foreground with dark trees lining the path, I'll use black paint for those that are more forward and gray lighter paint for those smaller trees in the distance. I'm painting it all pretty loosely without a lot of concern for making everything perfect. I think the haphazardness of it all creates more chaos, uncertainty, and darkness for this person who is walking in darkness, which is demonstrated or confirmed by the fact that he harbors hate for his brother. It's a little hard to see the final scene while everything is still wet. But once it dries, it looks like a pretty scary place to wander blindly on our own, refusing to forgive a fellow sinner when we have been forgiven so much. I am using a Sakura Jelly Roll white pen to add the words of 1 John 2:11 to this entry. It reads, "But whoever hates his brother is in the darkness and walks in the darkness and does not know where he is going, because the darkness has blinded him." This illustration will always remind me of the truth and encourage me to forgive those who sin against me, just as Jesus forgave and continues to forgive my sins as I make every effort to walk through life with him and practice righteousness.